It's time to take you through this week in Nicholls Athletics as we bring you the best of Colonel sports from Nicholls State University. This week in Nicholls Athletics is presented by State Farm Insurance. Contact your local State Farm agent today and get to a better state with State Farm Insurance. Welcome to This Week in Nicholls Athletics, presented by State Farm Insurance. I'm your host, Mike Wagenheim. We've got a full show for you today, and we begin with men's basketball. Last weekend, the Colonels took part in the inaugural Burl Shipley Classic at the Cajun Dome in Lafayette. The three-day, four-team event featured Louisiana Lafayette, Houston Baptist, and Cal State Fullerton. On day one, the Colonels drew Fullerton State. The Colonels, dressed in white, grabbed the early advantage as Lachlan Press spots Chris Talkington on a pick and pop for the three, the start of a big night for Talkington. 4 minutes in, tie game, Ben Martin with the steal of the inbounds pass and goes one-on-one for the bucket. The Colonels scored 21 points off turnovers. DJ Seeley, a transfer from Cal, led the Titans with 18 points, able to catch the Colonels off guard there for the hoop, and we're tied again 5 minutes in. Martin feeding Dantrell Thomas, misses from short range but keeps it alive for a Trevon Lewis layup. Lewis totaled 10 points in only 21 minutes. Nicholls up 14-12 with 11:30 left in the half. Seconds later, Brian Hammond leads Martin perfectly with the baseline bounce, the bucket and foul. Terrific first half with 10 ties and 5 lead changes. Last 5 minutes of the half, Nicholls down one. The Colonels show some tough post defense and force a turnover. Martin with the outlet for Hammond. The Titans, though, made a late run and went into the locker room with a 35-29 lead. Early second half, Thomas on the wing with a drive and back to Press, popping out for the bonus ball. It's back to a one-possession game. Fullerton able to answer, though. Isaiah Umapig pushes it up the floor and hands off to Seeley. The long-distance connection gives the Titans an 8-point edge with 17:30 to go. The Colonels fell behind by as many as 11, but rally. Chris Talkington, left wing, watch him, without the ball, fakes the cut, steps back and drills a three, and it's 59-56 Titans with 7 minutes remaining. Final 5, still down 3, but Fullerton comes up with 2 big buckets. First, Anthony Hill skips to Umapig for the sideline 3. Umapig's only make from outside the arc on the day, and then the dagger. Seeley, open in the corner, nails it to make it 69-60 with 3 minutes left. The Colonels would get within 7 on this Brian Hammond layup, but never fully recovered and fall by a final of 73-63. Well, last Saturday, Nicholls took on Houston Baptist. More big news about the Huskies later in the program. The Colonels still in search of their first win going in. Chris Talkington picks up right where he left off. Shane Reillier with a drive and the pass to Lachlan Press, shoveling to Seatalk for the first of his three-pointers on the evening. Nicholls up 5-4. Colonels hold his slim lead 5 minutes in. Sam McBeath draws 2 defenders and finds Talkington for another bonus ball. 13-9 Nicholls. Under 12 minutes to go first half. Colonels in transition. Brian Hammond ahead to Trevon Lewis. The jump stop and the off-balance lay-in. Lewis only missed 1 shot in 9 attempts. The Colonels work the ball around the arc, and Lewis puts it through. Nicholls was up 7. Now down by 2 with under 3 minutes left in the half, and Trevon now showing off his inside game, posting up on Anthony Hill. Help comes, but it doesn't matter. Tied again a few seconds before halftime, and Marcel Smith with a heave for the Huskies. It drops 38-35 HBU at the break. Now the second half doesn't start much better as Ronald March strings a 3. He registered 14 points. The Huskies had their biggest lead at 6 points. But here's why Lewis is so much fun to watch. Off the inbounds, he takes on 3 defenders on his way to the basket and gives Nicholls the lead with 14 minutes left. How about Dantrell Thomas? 17 points, 6 boards. He cleans up the glass on the defensive end here, calls for the ball back, and finishes. Nicholls leads 53-49. The Colonels begin to build their advantage. Shane Reillier slicing through the paint for 2. HBU still within reach with about 5 minutes to play. Not anymore. Lewis on the dribble drive here, and the dish to Press for the 3 ball. Colonels up double figures, and they pick up their first win of the season, defeating the Huskies 80-70, 21 points and 6 rebounds in only 21 minutes for Trevon Lewis. Now on Sunday, Nicholls faced Louisiana Lafayette, and they did so shorthanded. Ben Martin, the team's only senior, was out with a back injury. His timetable for returning is uncertain. Dantrell Thomas played just 6 minutes with a leg injury. He had his calf stomped on during the HBU game. Still, this was a tight first half. J.J. Thomas dominated early for ULL, scoring 2 baskets in the first minute. He had a game-high 17 points. Nicholls down 3. We're 8 minutes in. Trevon Lewis strips it from Raymond Andrews and finishes with the slam, part of a 13-point effort for Trevon. The Cajuns in transition here, and Alfred Payton turns it over. Jeremy Smith off to the races. We're tied at 17 with 7 minutes left in the half. Thomas strikes again, this time from outside. The Cajuns with 9 threes in the game. The UL Lafayette stretches it to an 8-point advantage. We're down to the final seconds of the half. Payton misfired, and Sam McBeath corrals it. McBeath showing off his ball handling skills, ahead to Brian Hammond for the buzzer-beating 3. Nicholls down just 5 at halftime. It's 36-31. The depth begins hurting the Colonels in the second half. Kadeem Colby receiving the feed in the post. Strong move. Colby registered 11 points. The Cajuns score the first 6 points of the half. Colonels make a run. Thomas smothering Chris Talkington on the wing, but Seatalk dishes to Lewis in between 2 defenders for the finish. Colonels back within 6. But this is the kind of day it turned out to be. Darshawn McClellan at the free throw line misses the back end of the 2-shot foul. Lewis had positioning going up for the rebound, but Lewis tips it in. That seemed to be the turning point. Colonels never got back within striking distance and fall 84-57. Trevon Lewis and Chris Talkington, though, received all tournament honors. Now, the team just looking to get healthy again. Well, coming up, we'll tell you about the Colonels' unique connection with Australian basketball. This week in Nicholls Athletics, presented by State Farm Insurance, returns in just a moment.
There goes Dwayne's car. There goes Dwayne's house. And there goes Dwayne.
Man, that thing does not like Dwayne.
State Farm's got you covered.
In Thibodaux, call Doug Robichaux. And in Luling, call Keith Davis.
Get to a better state.
We're back here with you on This Week in Nicholls Athletics, presented by State Farm Insurance. This year's Colonels men's basketball squad continues a tradition. The roster is peppered with players from Australia, including junior Lyndon Smith-Hyde and freshman Sam McBeath and Lachlan Prest. Our own Angela Boudreau explains how the land of plenty has helped Nicholls forge a global identity.
Over the last 6 years, the Nicholls men's basketball team has turned Thibodaux into another land down under. The coaching staff was at the forefront of the rise of basketball in Australia and has been able to recruit some of the top-level talent from the continent, despite the nearly 9,000 miles that separate South Louisiana from Sydney. In 2005, Nicholls assistant coach David Patrick, who grew up and played professionally in Australia, took note of 4 young Aussies at an AAU tournament in Houston. Mike Zeffel, Ryan Bathy, Dominic Friend, and Kieran Gleason would set the foundation for an unlikely marriage of the Bayou and the Bush. Zeffel, a Melbourne native, is now in his 2nd year of the Colonels coaching staff.
Come in, the 4 of us together, and we decided that we would come and give it a shot together. We could have all gone different places, but it was unique that the 4 of us got asked by the same program to come play. So we came in and played, and we sort of started the trickle of kids. And since then we've had a couple, 3 on the team now, and Tolley was here, and Cam was here and ended up leaving, but we started sort of a little effect.
Zeffel has now taken the lead in keeping the pipeline of Aussie players open. Maintaining a long-distance connection with his former coaches and other contacts back home allows Zeffel to get the jump on up-and-comers.
I'm familiar with a lot of the coaches, and that helps me out. So the guys that I played for are still coaching back home. They still coach 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, so I'm able to stay in communication with those guys and sort of figure out who the next wave of kids coming through are. And then obviously it's difficult to get out there and watch them play, so a lot of the time the coaches will help send film or put me in touch with the parents or the kid who can do a similar thing. But the trick is to find a kid that'll fit Nicholls.
Zeppel may have a checklist when it comes to players' ability to fit in the Nicholls program. Nevertheless, acclimating themselves to the Colonel's brand of basketball takes some doing.
It's been difficult to adjust at times, but I can get through it. So, yeah, just got to keep up with the pace, really.
For us is a step up to the next level, to test yourself against better quality players. So that was always a goal. And having such a successful Australian program in the past, I've known a lot of players who've been through here, so I thought it'd be a good fit.
While the Aussies don't face the strong language and cultural barriers that other foreign players must deal with, one thing they notice as soon as they experience playing with or against American players is that they are behind their counterparts athletically. Australian players are brought up more on the fundamentals of the game.
I think it's a lot faster. There's a lot more athletes here, I guess. I mean, we've got athletes in Australia, but they jump higher, they're stronger at a younger age here. So, I mean, we're getting used to that still, but I mean, it's a lot of fun playing against these guys who can really dominate you if you let them.
I think it's a lot more physical and a lot quicker. They were the first two things that I noticed. I think coaches demand a lot more mentally as well from players. Like, they really push you to your boundaries, but that's good. At this level you need to, so I agree with that. But that's kind of the first thing I noticed when I came over here, and players are a lot bigger as well. Like, you don't see that many 7-footers, 7'2" back home, and if you do, they're pretty spastic. They're not very talented. So here, it's a lot tougher, a lot more physical.
For the Australian players, their time at Nicholls has made such an impression on them that they urge their countrymen to experience American basketball and culture for themselves.
When I go back, they get you to talk to kids about basketball, all this stuff, and I always recommend to them that they should come over and try it because it's positive. It makes you a better person, I think.
Nicholls' recruitment of Australian players has certainly paid dividends, with 3 Aussies having been named All-Conference. Fans, scouts, and other universities took special note of Anatoly Bose, who finished last season ranked 8th in the NCAA in scoring before moving on to the Australian Basketball League and the Aussie national team. With his departure, it is up to the newest crop to carry on his legend while creating their own.
You know, we're not Anatoly Bose, and coach never said we were, so I don't think we have to be Anatoly Bose, but I mean, on the other side of that, that's good pressure as well, because I mean, that keeps us working and maybe we can be better, you know, who knows. But I mean, coach said from the start, you don't have to be Tolley, and you know, you just have to come in and do the best you can, and if we do the best we can, I'm sure we're going to contribute to the program somehow.
I mean, coming here, I felt a bit of pressure, like having such a good production line of Australian players who've come out. Like, a lot of guys I know who've come here, they're really strong players, so that was the pressure I felt. But now that Tolley's gone, I feel more of a challenge to kind of step up and help Lachlan step up and Sam step up to fill those shoes and like stop people talking about Anatoly Bose, and like, he's gone, that's over with. Like, it's about us now, so we just got to do what we can to help Nicholls, and I think it's good that he's gone and we've come in now. So it's kind of like the new breed of Australians coming through.
Other schools around the country have tried to mimic Nicholls' success in drawing talent from Oz, but almost none have been as successful. The Colonel's name is just as strong as Australians' Gold Coast as Americans' Gulf Coast. For This Week in Nicholls Athletics, I'm Angela Boudreau.
Thanks a lot, Angela. We'll be back with more of This Week in Nicholls Athletics presented by State Farm Insurance right after this.
There goes Dwayne's car. There goes Dwayne's house. And there goes Dwayne.
Man, that thing does not like Dwayne.
State Farm's got you covered.
In Lockport, call Ashley Barrios. And in Houma, call Travis Gravois.
Get to a better state.
Back with you on This Week in Nicholls Athletics presented by State Farm Insurance. Colonel Pride is a motto you'll see all around campus, in the locker rooms, on T-shirts, banners, and posters. For a collection of former student athletes, Colonel Pride is about coming to campus every day to help lay the foundation for future success. Julie Baudouin has more.
Nicholls State University has seen thousands of student athletes over the years, but a more recent trend has led former players back to campus to help lead the next generation of Colonels. 13 former student athletes currently work within the Nicholls Athletic Department in positions such as coaching, strength training, and fundraising. Their positive experiences during their college careers are something they're eager to share with the current crop of Colonels.
I had a blast in college. I loved it. If I could go back, I would. But the second best thing is to go ahead and give those girls the same fun, experience that I had. Nicholls is where I grew up. It's where I became an adult. And so I'm so thankful for everything it's given me and taught me that I want to go ahead and bring that same experience and that same passion to the younger girls coming in and help them kind of grow up and help them, become young women. It's not only on the field, but you want to help them in everyday life. You want just to be a good open-minded person.
For the young student athletes who work hard and show determination, Nicholls could eventually welcome you back in the future.
I think Nicholls does a good job of giving its graduates an opportunity. That's a big deal, to graduate. And then, but look, if you do the right things for your 4 or 5 years here, I'm not going to say they help you out, but they do see that if you can fit a role, they like to keep graduates and alums, working in the community.
I had all these different things in my head of what I was going to do, and when I graduated in December, when I was finished playing football, my last year right there of 03, I took a semester off. Knew I wanted to go back to school, took a semester off and worked and went and did some odd things and went and skied and had fun. Just wanted to live my life a little bit and knew I always wanted to get go back to school and get my graduate degree. Never thought I'd be back at Nicholls though. Didn't know life would turn me back this way, but I'm glad it did.
For those successful student athletes who have gotten the chance to return to Nicholls, the small community feels like home.
It's just the homey feeling you get. Once you're here, you're kind of part of the family. And people don't want to leave their family. And it's just a South Louisiana culture. Even if you're from Texas or you're from out of the state, which most of our athletes, most of our athletes are local, but we do get some, and they want it. We get a lot of people that stay.
It's a unique place that, it's a small community. So everybody's kind of tight-knit and people work together and help each other out. And, especially out in the community, there's a lot of Nicholls supporters who do a lot of things for coaches and, and teams to help us out. And, that always, I always enjoyed that when I was here, because you could see the community always kind of would come in and help out, and specific people in the community would always help out and just always be there for us, and that always made me feel good. And I wanted to be, to be able to come back and be a part of that was a good thing for me.
For Nicholls graduates working in the department, it's much more than a job. They're proud to be a Colonel in their dedication to the future success of Nicholls Athletics.
Colonel pride to me is the end with the sword, and people cheering for the underdog, and it's just a great experience that I had here at Nicholls that I would never trade for anything.
Once it does happen, it's going to be I think like a waterfall effect. Once one team starts to have success, somebody then the next team's going to have success, and the next team's going to have success, because it can happen at Nicholls. It really can, because we have great staff, great athletes, great students, that are behind us 100%, and so that's what's going to make us all successful.
We've got a great, place to work here with our athletes, and we do the best that we can with that. And I think it's shown through the 4 years that I've been here that, our athletes are getting better, they're getting stronger, they're getting faster. They know what it means to get in here and do the work. And you can see that, we've had 4 guys in baseball get drafted who are in the minor leagues right now. We've got 3 guys who are in the NFL. So, things, you can get it done here at Nicholls State. It doesn't need to be all the glitter and glam. It's just hard work and determination.
These men and women show that every day Colonel Pride isn't just a slogan. For more and more former student athletes, Colonel Pride is something more tangible. It's about embracing the underdog status and outworking the competition well after your playing days are over. For This Week in Nicholls Athletics, I'm Julie Bode.
Thanks so much, Julie. Hey, the Colonels football season came to an end last week, but the honors are rolling in from the Southland Conference. We'll tell you more coming up next on This Week in Nicholls Athletics, presented by State Farm Insurance.
goes Dwayne's car. There goes Dwayne's house. And there goes Dwayne.
Man, that thing does not like Dwayne.
State Farm's got you covered.
In Thibodaux, call Mike Bednards. And in Homa, call Mark Anderpont.
Get to a better state.
Back with you on This Week in Nicholls Athletics, presented by State Farm Insurance. 9 members of the Nicholls football team were honored this week as the Southland Conference announced the All-Conference Awards for the 2011 season. Making the first team were cornerback Bobby Felder, punter Corey Kemps, and return specialist Chika Madu, while running back Marcus Washington and tight end Nick Scelfo earned second-team honors for offense. Earning honorable mention for the Colonels were kicker Andrew Dolan, nose tackle Eddie Udo, linebacker Jordan Piper, and safety Segan Virginal. The 3 first-team selections were the most for Nicholls since the 2007 season, when the Colonels had 4, including current NFL players Kareem Moore and Ladarius Webb. Now, Felder was selected first-team defense for the second straight season after ranking second in the conference with 5 interceptions. He was second in the Southland with 13 passes defended while lining up against the opponent's best receiver all season. Kemps led the conference and ranked 8th in the nation with 42.8 yards per punt. Madu made national headlines after taking 2 kick returns back for scores against Stephen F. Austin. His 304 return yards in that game set a Southland Conference record. Washington ranked 6th in the league in rushing yards per game and finished second on the team with 23 receptions. Scelfo from Baton Rouge was second on the team with 189 yards receiving. Piper, meanwhile, ranked 6th in the conference with 8.2 tackles per game. Dolan was the 3rd member of the Colonel's Special Forces to be recognized. Along with handling the field goal duties, Dolan had 3 onside kicks recovered out of 4 attempts. Udo anchored the middle of the defensive line, starting all 11 games at nose tackle. He registered 5.5 tackles for loss. And Virginal rounds out the honorees after finishing second on the team with tackles with 63. On the year, the safety out of New Iberia had a sack, broke up 4 passes, and forced 3 fumbles. Now, the Southland Conference and Houston Baptist University announced on Monday that HBU will become the newest member of our league. Houston Baptist will join the Southland as our 11th member on July 1st, 2013. At that point, they'll become eligible for conference championships and NCAA automatic bids in most of the league's sports. Houston Baptist rejoined NCAA Division I this year and announced last month it will start a football program that will compete at the FCS level. HBU's football program will join the Southland in 2014. That will give the league an all-time number of football teams, an all-time high with 9. Now, here at Nicholls, we continue to branch out both near and far. On Wednesday night, December the 7th, we'll be in Cutoff, Louisiana for a Colonel Athletic Association social event. All CAA members and prospective members are invited to join us at the Chateau de Bayou restaurant from 6 to 9:30. That's in the evening. There is no charge for that event. Well, let's take a look at what's coming up on the schedule here for the Nicholls men's and women's basketball teams. The men's team is at ULM on Monday. The women, meanwhile, will play at Oregon on Sunday, and their ULM coming up next Saturday. I want to let you know a very special note coming up on Friday, December the 9th. Rouse's Markets is sponsoring a special doubleheader at the Homa Terrebonne Civic Center. That'll be played again Friday, December the 9th. The women's team will take on Florida A&M at 5:30 in the evening. The men's side is going to face Loyola at 8 o'clock that night. Rouse's Markets, a Homa doubleheader. Nicholls Hoops coming to Homa. It only happens once a year. Tickets are available and at a great price. Just $5 for adults, only $3 for juniors 18 years and under. You'll want to call us for tickets. 985-448-4790 is the number to dial. That's 985-448-4790. You can also log on to our official website at GoColonels.com. That's GEAUX, GoColonels.com. for more information. That's going to do it for this week in Nicholls Athletics, presented by State Farm Insurance. For Angela Boudreau and Julie Bodwan, I'm Mike Wagenheim. Have a great Thanksgiving weekend. Today's show has been brought to you by State Farm Insurance. Contact your local State Farm agent today and get to a better state with State Farm Insurance. This has been a presentation of the Colonel Sports Network.